friends. Welcome to or welcome back to the channel Jane Reads. My name is Jeanette, and today I have some recommendations and some possibilities for myself to read for the Keep Me in Suspense Readathon that I am co-hosting in the month of August with Caitlyn from Chronicles of a Book Nerd. We are encouraging you to read romantic suspense for this readathon, but you do not have to. If you can find a book that fits the prompts in a different genre, go right ahead. If you're not a fan of romantic suspense, find whatever you can to fit the prompts. But because it is a suspense-themed readathon, the recommendations and the possibilities that I am talking about today are all in the Christian fiction suspense genre. I am pretty sure. If they're not romantic suspense, they definitely have suspense in them. Maybe just not the romance. So there are 8 prompts for this readathon. I cannot recommend a book for every single prompt for you because one of the prompts is to read a TBR vet. Well, I don't know what is on your TBR list, so I can't recommend what book you're going to read for that. I can tell you what books I'm looking at reading, and I do not have a recommendation for the prompt, follow the evidence, a mystery or suspense, because all these books are a mystery or suspense, so I am not focusing on that prompt because you could use any of these books for that prompt. Okay, so I am standing up for this video today because I have piles of books all over around me. I have my notebook with the prompt, some recommendations, and the possibilities. So I'm going to be looking at it to make sure that I don't mess up as I go. Or make sure I talk about the books that I'm thinking. Because some of the books that I'm also I can't even talk. Some of the books that I'm recommending or that are possibilities for me, I do not own physically, so I will have to insert a picture. So it's a good thing I have the title written down. Okay, so let's start with a debut book. So I actually do not have that many that I have read that I can recommend to you. But the first one I thought of immediately, because this book just came out last July as her debut book, and that is Secondary Target by Angela Carlisle. This is the first book in the Secrets of Kincaid series, and we are following non-law enforcement people. Basically, somebody is after Corinne, and her dad has gone missing, and they're trying to solve clues. So her ex-boyfriend and best friend's ex-boyfriend and best friend's brother, the two of them, the brother and sister, work with her to try to figure out what's going on. They bring in the cops and they listen to the cops. I loved this book, and book 2 just came out in July. It is one of my most anticipated books yet to read. And so yeah, this is one that I would recommend. Now I'm going to go very quickly through this, and not probably a longer description about the book than I will give for a majority of these books. Okay, the other book that I did not know it was a debut until I looked it up to see what debuts are. And I read it quite a while ago, and I think it was my intro to Dani Pettrey. And that is Submerged, which is the first book in her Alaskan Courage series, I think is what it's called. And I really don't remember a lot about this book. Every book in the series has a one-word title. I do know that. But Submerged is Dani Pettrey's debut book. Okay, possibilities that I have to fulfill this prompt. Okay, so one I was told about by Caitlyn is Above the Fold by Rachel Scott McDaniel. This is a historical suspense, and I cannot wait to read this book. So this one's very high on my list, but I do not own it. Okay, another book, Living Lies by Natalie Walters, is Natalie Walters' debut book. It is book 1 in a series. I don't know. Here's the cover. Then Patricia Bradley's debut book was Shadows of the Past. Again, I know pretty much nothing about this one. Then Lynn H. Blackburn's debut book was a love-inspired suspense book called Covert Justice. And I'm pretty sure this is the one with firefighters as the main characters. I'm not 100% sure. This one is very high on my list. I do own this one on my Kindle. Lynn H. Blackburn is an author I'm trying to read to zero this year, so this one is very high on my list. And then for Carrie Stuart Parks, her debut book is A Cry from Dust, which is book 1. I do not own book 1. I own book 2. What is the Gwen Macy? Yeah, a Gwen Macy series. And I think it's about cults, I think. And look, I've got all these books down here and I pull from my shelf. Okay, so that is the list for debut books. Now, let's go to first in a series. So that would fulfill the prompt, new case file. I should say I am trying not to repeat recommendations that I listed in last year's August recommendation video for my suspense. So I will also link that video below because that will have a bunch more as well. So I'm trying to read ones that trying to recommend ones that I have read this year or have acquired this year or since I did that video. Okay, number 1. One Wrong Move by Dani Pettrey. This is book 1 of the Jeopardy Falls series. There is only 2 books of the series currently out, and I absolutely loved this book. I did not expect to enjoy it as much as I did, and we are following 4 points of view throughout this book. I absolutely loved it. Then we've got book 1 in Gossamer Falls, which is Never Fall Again by Lynn H. Blackburn. This is more romance than suspense, but it is considered a romantic suspense, but it definitely has more romance in it. I, again, absolutely loved these characters. And right now there is 2 books and a novella that are out for this one. Going on the 2 books currently released in the series, Into the Fire by Irene Hannon. This is book 1 of the Undaunted Courage series. We are following a fire investigator who is trying to figure out the arsons that are being started. Yes, solve some arson cases when kind of her mentor gets killed. And yeah, I loved it. Again, 2 books are out right now. The 3rd one comes out in October. Unknown Threat by Lynn H. Blackburn is book 1 of her Defend and Protect series. This series is completely released. We are following Secret Service agents based out of Raleigh, North Carolina. And in this book, agents are being targeted, and a number of agents within this office have been killed or injured, and they're trying to stop whoever is targeting the agents. And then we have book 1 of the Natchez Park Rangers series. This is Standoff by Patricia Bradley. And we are following a park ranger and a guy that is undercover, and somebody else gets killed, and they're trying to figure out, was it a suicide or was he murdered? And the 2 of them have to work together to try to figure it out. There's drugs going on, and can they stop the drug ring as well? Very intense. Okay, so those are start of the series that I have read. Now, ones I have to possibilities for myself. Okay, we have Among the Innocent by Mary Alford. This is book 1 in the Among the Innocent series. I think it's book 1, and a novella I think is book 2. I'm not 100% sure on that. It might be a full-length book. And from my understanding of this, it says that Leah comes from an Amish family. She has left the Amish community, but now her family was murdered 10 years ago, and she's with the police force and trying to solve the kind of unsolved case, I think. As I said, I haven't read it, so I don't know the full story. Then we've got book 1 of the Snap Agency, which is Lights Out by Natalie Walters. Again, I don't know much about it. CIA analyst Bryn Taylor developed a new program to combat terrorism, and she invited members of foreign intelligence agencies to America to foster cooperation between countries. Now one of them, an Egyptian spy, is missing. And then another one is A Cry from Dust by Carrie Stuart Barks. This is book 1 of the Gwen Macy series that I mentioned, which is the debut for Carrie Stuart Barks. And I own book 2 and book 4. I think I own 2 of the 4 books anyways. And so I need to read book 1 to be able to move on into the series. Okay. 2 or more point of views. A lot of suspense books have at least 2 points of view in them, if not more. You use, especially romantic suspense, you have the male main character, the female character, and usually you have the villain. Some of them you have kind of the 2 main characters, and then you usually have 2 secondary characters, which are possibly another friendship forming romance, but you don't really know for sure. And the ones I have to recommend. So we have 2 Seconds Too Late by Dani Pettrey. This is book 2 of the Jeopardy Falls series, and we are following Riley and Grayson in this series, along with Katie, I think is her name. It won't tell me on the back. Because they're trying to find a missing person. But we also get that missing person's point of view throughout this and kind of where they are and what is going on. It does pick up from book 1 with Riley and Grayson's story. Then we have the Dive Team series by Lynn H. Blackburn. Book 1 is Beneath the Surface. Book 2 is One Final... That's not book 2. In Too Deep is book 2, and One Final Breath is book 3. Each of these books, you are following the 2 main characters, the male and female, and some of the secondary friendships. So depending on which book it is, you have different friends that you're following, but their points of view are shared as well. This series was 5 stars for me. Every book was 5 stars. I've read it twice. I enjoyed it. It's the same both times and found new stuff to enjoy. And yeah, I highly recommend the series. Now, I know this is a series I would have mentioned last year for sure. And then we have Over the Edge by Irene Hannon. This is book 2 of the Undaunted Courage series, and we are following a friend that we met in book 1. And this time we are following Lindsay, who is the friend we saw in book 1. And Jack, who is a police detective. Lindsay is a survivor of a trauma. And then we also get the villain's perspective a little bit in this one as well. And the book that I am... I cannot forget this book. Standoff by Patricia Bradley. This one has four perspectives that start at the very beginning. We have the main male, the main female, the villain, along with another person. And so I did a reading vlog on this book, and I said I'd read 5 chapters or 4 chapters, and I had 4 different people already. Like, who is this book actually going to follow? So yeah, this one definitely has more points of view than 2. Okay, so for this one, the possibility for myself is to continue in the Patricia Bradley series, and that is book 2, Obsession. And this one, it says, this one's personal. So park ranger and historian Emma, which we met in book 1, hopes to never see Sam again after she broke off her engagement to him. But when shots are fired at her at a historical landmark just off the Natchez Trace, she is forced to work alongside Sam as the law enforcement district ranger in the investigation. So we're gonna have Emma's point of view. We most likely will have Sam's, and I expect to have a villain's point of view based on how book 1 went. Another prompt is 911 Call, a book under 250 pages. The obvious choice for this is a love-inspired suspense books. Majority, if not all, of these books are under 259 pages, or 50. Where did I get the 59 from? Majority are between 205, 210 to 230 usually. But the one book that I own physically to recommend to you is The Gold Digger by Liz Tolsma. This is part of the True Colors series, but this is a multi-author series, and you do not need to read the series in order. They don't connect at all. They just have the same theme. And in this one, it is based, so these are considered fiction based that is strange but true. Fiction based on strange but true history. A widow's ad for a husband leads to mysterious disappearances. And this one is 249 pages. And I absolutely loved this book when I read it. And it is creepy. There are creepy things that happen because a widow's husbands keep going missing. And what is going on with them? And you do get at least 2 points of view in this one as well. Some other shorter books that I have to recommend are The Red Ribbon by Pepper Basham, which is part of the True Colors series as well. Or we've got Canine Ranch Protection by Darlene L. Turner, or Lethal Cover-Up by Darlene L. Turner. These are my 2 favorites by her, I think. And so there. Okay, for possibilities for myself. I have The Blue Cloak, which is also part of that collection. And this one's by Shannon McNear. And it says, Evil Incarnate leaves a trail of destruction across the frontier. 1797. Or I've got Explosive Christmas Showdown by Darlene L. Turner, which is another love-inspired suspense. But the chances of me reading a Christmas book in August are very, very slim. Some other ones I have are Following the Trail by Lynette Eason, Dangerous Mountain Rescue by Christy Barrett, Code Trauma by Lynette Eason, which is a novella, and Out of Time by Lynn H. Blackburn, which is another novella. Then we have the prompt, Case Closed, and this is to read a standalone. So there's not a lot of romantic suspense standalones. They tend to be series, which I absolutely love, continuing series and meeting characters and staying with characters we met, but I do have a few standalones to recommend to you. And the first one is a new release that just came out in June, and that is Echoes of Darkness by Darlene L. Turner. This is set in Ontario, Canada, and you are following a police officer who is trying to stop a serial killer. There is cult and drugs involved in this story. We have Relative Silence by Carrie Stuart Parks, which is set in South Carolina or North Carolina. One of the Carolinas for sure. And something is going on. People are dying or going missing. And yeah, trying to figure out what is going on. And then they have a hurricane that they're also dealing with. Smokescreen by Terry Blackstock. This is 2 characters being reunited after a number of years apart. They were sweethearts at one point, but then one of the fathers got convicted of killing the other father, and he's now out of jail. But can the 2 characters reconcile and what is going on? This is really a hard-hitting reality story, how one's faith has grown through the years, the other one's faith has really been rocked and is really struggling with things happening. Then another Terry Blackstock, we've got Aftermath, which is about a bombing that happens at a concert and somebody gets framed for that. Then we have two friends reconnect. This is also a multi point of view story because we have the person that is being framed, the person that's working with them trying to clear their name, and somebody else, that one of the concert victims, and how they're dealing with the aftermath of it all. A Distant Shore by Karen Kingsbury. This is focusing on human trafficking and set mainly in Belize, does come to Texas eventually, and yeah, trying to get somebody out of the human trafficking ring and kind of shut it down. And then we have Double Minds by Terry Blackstock. This one is set in Nashville, I'm pretty sure. We're focusing on the music industry. Somebody gets killed while working at a desk, but that wasn't their normal spot to work. And was the person who's supposed to work at that desk normally, were they the target or what? Like, yeah, I really liked this one. So standalone possibilities for myself are Fallout by Carrie Stewart Parks, Formula of Deception by Carrie Stewart Parks, Because You're Mine by Colleen Cobo, Concrete Evidence by Diane Mills, The Trader's Pawn by Lisa Harris. Okay, that is all. And then I just have some other recommendations. Have I missed any? Okay, so some other ones I just want to recommend to you are Sins of the Past novella collection. This is Dani Pettrey, D. Henderson, I've just completely blanked on who the third author of that collection is. It'll be here. I do not remember. This one, if you read each individual story and only counted the one, this could count as under 250 pages as well. Then Dangerous Beauty by Melissa Coslin. This is another human trafficking story with a marriage of convenience theme to it. Really good, really intense in some ways. And some books that have been recommended to me are The Silver Shadow by Liz Tolsma. This is also part of the True Colors series. It could fit in the under 250 pages because it is 249 pages. It's a historical set in 1900 in Denver. And one that Caitlyn has recommended to me is Across to Kill by Andrew Huff. This one feels short. Oh, it's not though. Oh, that's a preview. This one is oh no, that's author's note. Yes, this one is exactly 250 pages. It is book one of a series. I think the series is called Across the Kill. Not 100% sure on that. Can John Cross keep his vow of peace when killers come to call? So, the 4 TBR vets for myself. The ones I am looking to read, I am working on reading books that I acquired prior to 2020. So 3 books that are suspense that I acquired prior to 2020 are Rodeo Rescuer by Lynette Eason, To Save Her Child by Margaret Daly, and Protecting Her Daughter by Lynette Eason. So those are some possibilities for me. Okay, so I have gone through this very, very quickly. I will try to list every book that I've mentioned in the description below. I don't know if I'll have enough characters, but we'll try. I will try to timestamp as well when I talk about which prompt, so you can go back if you're looking for a recommendation just for that certain prompt. I'm not promising I will remember to do that. Hopefully editing, hearing this, oh yeah, you need to do that. So we'll see. If you have any questions, just feel free to reach out to me, either comment or reach out to me on Instagram. My Instagram is JaneReads_Insta, so you can message me on there and I will be happy to answer any questions for you. And I hope you will join in on this readathon that is taking place in August. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.